Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go ahead, we'd like to establish protocols. We'd like to thank the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Sule, the Deputy Governor, Dr. Akabe, your distinguished Royal Highnesses in the House, government officials, and state executives. We are glad to, among other things, be able to be in a position to share with you our personal experiences investing in Nasarawa State. All the dignitaries here on the high table are people that have invested in Nasarawa State, and they have a bit of experience, hands-on experience, to tell you the stories of what actually led us here, what we are doing right, and obviously how we can also encourage other parties to come in here to invest. I have on the panel here, as already introduced, my colleague. There is Abdul-Malik Mahdi, who is the Managing Director of Modern Shelter. You're welcome. We also have Mr. Yahya Yahaya, the Chief Executive Officer of Mall Company. These two individuals are involved in infrastructural development, including real estate development and other infrastructure in the state. They will share with you their experiences. There's also Mr. Adnan Aminu. He's of Silvex International. He represents the agricultural subsector and also the logistics around moving the large-scale agricultural products and other manufactured products out of Nasarawa State to the larger market. Myself, I'm Mr. Makoji Aduku. I am originally a geologist, which I remain so. I would like to actually start with myself, which is, what are the attractions? What made me work in Nasarawa? And I will start saying that based on my background, I've been through Nasarawa. Our foremost company here, it's around mining. And we mine what is called dimension stones. Essentially, Nasarawa State provides a plethora and obviously a very wide range of stones, which are internationally traded and also marketed in Nigeria. Before our foray into the mining of dimension stones, most of it, I will believe Nigeria uses up to 8 million square meters of tiles currently of natural stones that were always imported. However, Nasarawa State has the capacity to basically provide, if not all, the requirement of dimension stones in Nigeria. So as you move from Karu, you start to see black rocks. You move through areas like Kokona, and you start to look at, rocks that are essentially darker, and you move through other local governments like Jitata, like Tatara, where the diversities of stones in Nasarawa is almost unquantified, through areas like Gudi, where you have a very white rock that is unique to Nasarawa State and can hardly be seen in any part of the world. We've seen stones in Nasarawa from places like Jitata that is sold in Nigerian markets. However, the market will describe them as Brazilian equivalent. I would say outside that, Nasarawa is also blessed with lots of solid minerals. As you go through places like Ugia in total local government, they would have what you call a world-class limestone deposit. Marble deposit that is equal to none. I believe, the end is not near for the solid minerals we have here. However, the ability to move these solid minerals, especially dimension stones, into the international market would be the biggest achievement for we investors in this business. What are dimension stones? So if you look around you, if you look on the floor right in front of you, if you look at the wall there, those are Tatara stones. The floors in your front are Jitatas, everywhere at the back are granites from Goody. So you don't really need to look far to see the products from Nasarawa State that have been used to work for building projects here. They are internationally recognized, and I believe the sky is the limit. Let me allow my other colleague to also add to their experiences and what actually propelled them to continue to invest in Nasarawa State. Mr. Abdul-Malik Mahdi, please.
Thank you very much. So my personal story and that of my company is intertwined. I come from Bauchi State, and I got to Abuja, and I always go to Abuja through Nasarawa State. And this is a story of over 25 years, and the sheer amount of opportunities, abundant opportunities, both agricultural, mineral, and human resources in Nasarawa State have always struck me ever since I was a little boy, a student, and then to be a banker, and then into real estate. And when this government came, this administration, and the posture of business, the ease of doing business, the quality of the professionals that were brought on the table, to encourage and woo investors into Nasarawa State, where you quickly came together, formed a consortium with some people from Nasarawa State to see how we can take upon this opportunity to realize this potential, because the potential has always been there. The opportunities are there in abundance, so it is just about the right timing, with the right people, with the right administration, and in this government, we saw that seriousness, and we have not been disappointed.
Good morning, Your Excellencies. Good morning, the Deputy Governor, Your Royal Highnesses, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to rely on existing protocol. For us, why Nasarawa State? At the mall company, it is our job to identify viable economic clusters that can sustain the development and operational maintenance of a grade A shopping mall. When shopping malls started in Nigeria, I think the first one was in Lekki in Lagos, which was situated in a high net worth neighborhood, whereby it is believed that the people around that place have high purchasing power parities. However, we thought and we found that the good people of Nasarawa State, particularly the Karo axis, where you have highly densely populated places like, Yanya, Mararaba, Karu in itself, and Asokoro too. We thought this community deserves a modern retail and recreational park, a community park that the people can call their own. Now, we carried out extensive feasibility studies, and we found that the Karu location, particularly Muhammadul Buhari International Market, it's not only a viable real retail commercial real estate investment, it's also that it promises its investors stable and sustainable returns on investment. Now, when we make this type of findings, what do? For a sector like ours, we engage with a multiple of stakeholders, from consultants to contractors to the anchor tenants, ShopRite, and other tenants. We also have to engage with government, different agencies of government, from the Ministry of Justice or the building approvals, from the Ministry of Environment, to the Ministry of Lands. There's a plethora of agencies that we need to engage with. Now, the challenge for us as a company and as investors is having to engage with all of these multiple stakeholders and be able to make the transaction whole. Thankfully, to the investment policy of His Excellency, the Governor of Nasarawa State, and the Investment Promotions Agency, NACIDA, as investors, when we want to make market entry, we're looking for a door. We thank His Excellency for creating an investment door through NACIDA, who collated all of the regulatory compliance and harnessed all of the stakeholders that we needed to engage with. which eased our doing business and market entry into Nasarawa State. And I must also commend His Excellency for setting up a reliable, patriotic, dependable, and capable team that understands the language of the private sector. I must also make bold to say that I have said on several platforms that I believe, and I make bold to say, that Nasarawa is perhaps Nigerians' friendliest investment destination, and we're proud to be a part of this legacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would also like to announce that one of the discussions on this panel, Mr. Ade Adefeko, he's the Vice President, Corporate and Government Relations at Olam, Nigeria. With your gracious permission, we would kindly allow him join us virtually, please. Thank you very much for your patience.
Very much. I want to really thank the people and government of Nasarawa State, ably led by Nasuli, who has been doing a lot to attract investments into Nasarawa State. Our foray, Olam's foray into Nasarawa State started around about 2011 with our integrated rice farm. And a few key facts. We've been there since 2011. The investment is over $120 million. We have a farm mill, a rice farm and mill, and the total area under cultivation, as we speak right now, is over 13,500 hectares. And we're very, very proud to say that the number of outgrowers we have in the state right now is over 32,000. As I said earlier, we're very proud to have been one of the first and foremost companies to have invested in Nasarawa State, which we found as an investment haven. What we have done here is we have said to ourselves, after doing our soil map, where is the place to site our rice farm and our rice mill? And we could find no other place but Nasarawa State as that haven for us to invest. And I must say that our investments in the state, with the production of a lot of you are very familiar with our Mama's Pride and Mama's Choice rice. We're the largest investor in the rice value chain in Nigeria. We're happy and proud to be part of that rice success story. Of course, you know, when we come for investment fora like this, it's important to always talk about the opportunities, but again, talk about a few of the challenges. The major challenge we face as an investor there is infrastructure. And of course, I think we've had many discussions with the state government with respect to helping us with access road to our farm in Doma. And for us, we have invested in Nasarawa State. We're looking at investing further as well. Discussions are on for us to increase our investments in other areas. I will not let the cat out of the bag. There are a lot of discussions going on already with respect to all investments. But for us right now, we're happy to be in Nasarawa State and very, very proud to be associated with the government. Let me just leave it on that for now.
Thank you, Mr. Ade Adefeko. We still have a speaker who would also need to share with us his experiences, investing in Nasarawa State. Kindly, Mr. Adnan Aminu, the Executive Director of Silvex Nigeria, in short form NASACO. Please, would like to hear about, your drive, your investments in Nasarawa State, and, what actually propelled you to invest in this beautiful state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Your Excellency. Good morning, Your Excellency, Deputy Governor. Good morning, Your Royal Highnesses. I want to stand on all existing protocols. Our company is Silvex International Limited, and 15 years ago, we were a small agro-commodity aggregation company operating from the famous Dawanau market in Kano. When we started, it was very obvious from the beginning that the sesame from Nasarawa is the #1 sesame that every commodity aggregator was after. It was so good that it was so good that when it is sesame season in Nasarawa State, nobody buys from anywhere else. We only buy from other places when the sesame from Nasarawa is finished. And unfortunately then, we buy everything and move it to Kano, where we have a processing plant, and then we export. That was the major activities we've been doing in Nasarawa State. We've had our aggregation clusters spread over every major market in Nasarawa State. And for about 5-7 years, we only buy sesame and move to Kano. Then we started pushing into other agro-commodities like maize, like groundnuts. One thing that struck out for us is that in all the places that we do business in about 26 states in Nigeria and about 5 different West African countries. But Nasarawa State was always easy to do business in because informally, it's only in Nasarawa that you don't buy any commodity directly from farmers. They are so organized that you cannot go directly to their farmers as is done anywhere else. So to prevent all kinds of mixtures and giving you commodities that you will come back and start complaining, you only buy directly from the market. So it was so good for us, we made Nasarawa State a second home. Along the way, we had direct relations with the investment agency, NASIDA, where they saw what we were doing and they thought we could add value to the plans of the state. And that was how 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, we came together, Nasarawa State Government, our company Silvex International, and our partners Vertmans Group. We come together to form the Nasarawa Agro-Commodity Company, NASACO. Now, NASACO is a unique company because it has the government and the private sector merging together to do the business of agro-commodity. So in this company, we are not just aggregating like we used to do. The government asked us to make sure that we look at the entire agro-commodity value chain. So we will produce, we will train farmers, we will aggregate, we will add value. And the most important thing is that we agreed together with the government that whatever commodity we are taking out of Nasarawa State will be directly from Nasarawa State to the international market. And if it is going to be consumed in country, it will be labeled as Nasarawa commodity. So that is what we are doing. We have the government facilitated a 10,000 hectare for production and setting up of farm processing facilities, which we've already started. It's most exciting for us that we've never had a deal moved as fast as it did, like the creation of NASACO. We started talking, and in 6 months, we have a company. In 8 months, we have an operational base, and in less than a year, we are fully registered and doing business. One thing that we will never forget was when we started having some miscommunication in the community. We were expecting that NASIDA will lead in solving it, but the governor himself spent a whole afternoon with every stakeholder, and in less than 24 hours, everything was sorted. We are happy to be here, and we will really, really want every investor in our field, in agro-commodity, trading, and production, to really come and have a taste of Nasarawa State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adnan Aminu. You essentially spoke through our next question, so we're also going to get back to you. Around the PPP that you've enjoyed with the Nasarawa government and the Nasarawa investment group, how would you describe that to a new investor in terms of how the PPP has evolved, your partnership with government? And then for lay people like us, we actually want to quantify how many trucks of sesame does Nasarawa deliver to the world. Why I say to the world is we believe that about 95% of all the sesame produced in Nigeria are exportable. That gives us a feel for the amount of work and operations you are carrying out in this state. I thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think one of the discussions we had with the governor when we were starting up, when we were coming in, was that we told the governor that it's really, really difficult to have the real numbers when it comes to sesame. It's because everybody just takes and, sorry, I'm from Kano State, and pushes it to Kano, and we export it as sesame from Kano. The funny thing is, Nasarawa is the leading producer of sesame in Nigeria, 26%. Kano produces just 3%, but we export more than 50 to 60% of the sesame in the whole country. And the governor said we must change that. Our commodity, our sesame must be exported as Nasarawa sesame. And that is one of the things that we really want to do now. We really want to have real data, real numbers. What actual quantity of Nasarawa sesame is going into the world, like you said. And we are on track to do that. We just don't have the numbers yet.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. We would like to see how you would improve your database. I'm sure both yourselves and Nasarawa Investment will be able to put such a number. It's encouraging to know, for example, that Nasarawa is supporting the sesame export with about 60% of the total export number. We hear that sesame is next cocoa export in terms of foreign exchange revenue to the country. So, you say cocoa is behind Nasarawa. Well, encouraging. So we'd like to see those numbers because that essentially describes the value of agriculture here. I would like to speak to the other panelists around, the number of houses, the types of accommodation they are creating for people around here, and, the successes that the partnership with the government is providing for ease of doing business. Thank you. I'd like to start.
Okay, so our project, the Nasarawa Technology Village, is beyond just housing. We came to the state government, to partner, to leverage on the population of the Karu corridor, which is essentially Asokorotu, as one of fellow speakers referred to the place as Asokorotu. It's so close to the FCT. It's just about 20 minutes drive to city center in Abuja. So we approached the state to do about 2,000 houses on 67 hectares that the state owns in Asofada in Karu local government. And while we engage with the state, we now realize that the potential for that place is beyond just 2,000 houses. We came up with the idea of establishing a technology village, Nasarawa Technology Village, which will be like the Silicon Valley of Nasarawa and Abuja in general, and the North Central in general. We'll be training programmers in the knowledge economy, which I'm glad is one of the key themes of this summit. There's a lot of programmers, a lot of money in tech. Right now, people are, eschewing normal CVs, normal white-collar jobs. We need to train our youth in the language and the currency of the future, which is technology. So in the Nasarawa Technology Village, we are partnering with NACIDA and Nasarawa State Government to train about 3,000 youth, to equip them with the necessary skills to do jobs that are usually done in India, in Ukraine, and places like Silicon Valley, to do them from Nasarawa and earn foreign exchange, thereby growing the economy so that people there have more purchasing power. And you see the synergy with people like ShopRite. They will have spending power to actually buy things from the mall. They would need residences, where to live. So they will be there living in our estate. There's also another project that is in the deal room, which is the construction of a 10-kilometer road, which is an alternative access, for Karu, which has long been overdue, which will also service that technology village and other parts of Nasarawa State as a whole. So for us, Nasarawa Investment also did something very unique for us. They also took us to family home funds as their partners to say, look, we want you to invest in Nasarawa, and these are our partners, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to make this transaction successful. There and then they even appointed a staff that sits in family home funds just to facilitate this transaction. And all in all, we're looking at about 30 billion naira in the next 2 years, 2,000 houses, and millions of jobs that will be created down the line. So it has been a fantastic experience to have a government agency and a governor that is a right fit, because in every PPP, the public part of it is the most important. If the policies, the people, and the drive is not there from the government side, there is no PPP that can be successful. And that's what makes Nasarawa State very, very unique, because the P is the first P, the public, is really, really playing the role that is expected to play. And that is why in the next 3 years, when we sit to discuss PPPs in Nigeria, Nasarawa State will come tops in all the conversations.
Thank you again. And for all intents and purposes, you are also playing the government. You are providing jobs, developing human capital. We thank you for your intervention once more.
The job creation should never be the key role of government. Government should create an enabling environment so that businesses thrive and jobs are created. And that's exactly what the government is doing here.
Also to speak to our co-panelist, Mr. Yahaya, around what they are also creating with the mall in terms of human capital development, access to finance, and essentially developing other infrastructure for the benefit of the entire population in Nasarawa State. Thank you.
Thank you. For us at the mall company, the social and economic impacts that our project will be having in Nasarawa State are quite diverse, and it varies from every phase of the project. Like right now that we're at construction stage, we're creating jobs. Jobs bring security, jobs takes our youth off the streets, and of course, most importantly, jobs actually build internal capacity and know-how. Throughout our construction period, we try to prioritize as much as possible in the states that we're carrying out construction work to give preference to Nasarawa citizens to participate in our construction projects. And I can tell you that we're going to create direct and indirect jobs during our 18-month construction period of over 500 to 1,000 jobs in Karu, Nasarawa State. Upon completion of these jobs, we need people to run the mall, so we'll create another set of jobs. The maintenance staff, the security men, the people who will work at the malls, and most importantly, building a mall is beyond just building an entertainment center. It is providing a social infrastructure for the people. You now have a community destination, because we don't just build malls. We also try and integrate a children's park, a playground. We want to create a destination when families and friends can meet up in the weekday after work hours or in the weekend to enjoy a good time, all in Nasarawa State. Also, we will also offer backward integration of the agricultural sector. It's that when you have an anchor tenant like ShopRite, what you have is that we will backwardly integrate this with our partners into the Nasarawa State agricultural sector. And very soon, ladies and gentlemen, you will have farm to shelf, ShopRite shelf to table, all made and consumed in Nasarawa State, Nigeria. Finally, is that we will pay taxes. We're a big business, and this is good revenue for the state. Although I would like to crave the indulgence of His Excellency to give us 20 years tax waiver, but I also know that I'm living in dreams land. But this is a partnership that we're very optimistic about, and our continuous engagement with the community. When we were going to do our groundbreaking, we had the privilege of visiting the palace of His Royal Highness, the Esu Karu. We also do a lot of community integration and participation because a mall is a long-term project. We're going to be there for many, many years, perhaps, if God wills, even beyond our lifetime. So it's very important that we institutionalize the relationship between our infrastructures and investment and the local people. This is why we take our CSR initiatives very, very important. We want to become Karo. And if His Excellency will permit, I would like a Karo citizenship. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yahya, for giving a good touch to the last discussion. On my own end, what have we really done to engage with the communities where we work? For us to actually mine, and we have quarries in about 4 and 5 locations in Nasarawa State, we are expected by the mining laws to have community development agreements that allows us intervene in those communities in provision of jobs, provisions of water boreholes, provisions of clinics, and sometimes provisions of schools. And in most of the places that we currently mine, we've been able to provide employment opportunities and basic infrastructure like water, clinics in up to 5 to 6 communities within Nasarawa State. Additionally, we process marbles and granites at the factories. In each of the factory, if you include people working at the quarries and the factory, a factory easily contains over 200 workers, whereby 95 to 90% of the workers are from Nasarawa State. They are trained, which is the human capital development we get from absorbing them on the job. It's on a very high level. They are usually high skilled. In some cases, we've deployed workers from Nasarawa State to other states like Kogi and Ondo, where we work because of their level of competency and their ability to work very well. I would also like to add that what attracts us to working in Nasarawa State, apart from the mineral, is the government, the way investments have been done here, and the ordinary people of Nasarawa State that actually are exceedingly welcoming. We have not had a problem that we haven't resolved. Even the very small ones, the big ones. So I would say my personal experience, and to all other investors, is that Nasarawa State is the place to be. Most of your problems, which would always come, are always unresolvable. And the human capital here are always willing to work and participate in developing whatever project you bring in. I would like to go ahead and ask my co-panelists other questions, essentially around how they've been able to, okay, we are almost done. Okay, so can I round up just a minute? We'll now talk through what your concerns are, what advices you like to promote for new investors in the state, and how we can forge a win-win between these investors and the Nasarawa State government. Thank you.
For me, I think one idea that we can take away from this summit is the deal room. If the NACIDA can actually pull together people from relevant government agencies to have them embedded in NACIDA such that transactions, are shortened and all stakeholders are carried along in transactions in the deal making, such that once a deal is signed, it is very easy to go from roundtable to groundbreaking to actual work started. So I think the deal room is a good idea, and you can have it in NACIDA continuously throughout the year, not just during the summit.
Okay, thank you. Guys, just a rounding note, advice, preparations.
Yeah, I think to round up, I think the CEDA is doing a great work by linking investors that have similar interests. I can remember there are a lot of investors coming in that are doing similar businesses to ours. But what NACIDA is doing is instead of creating competitions, unhealthy competitions, they try to bring in most of the investors together to see how they can particularly work better. I think this is an excellent initiative, and I hope NACIDA continues on that foot. Thank you.
Mr. Yahya, your last comments, please.
I think for us, it's security. Our asset is a critical asset in Cairo, and our concern is that we want to continue to remain in close relationship and want the government to hold our hands, and also to see our asset as theirs, and we would like the government to continue to work with us and the security agencies and to ensure that our investment and that of our investors are protected at all times. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then also we'll call Mr. Ade Adefeko. I don't know if he's online to give his final comments while we try to close up, please. Is he on?
Opportunities which we already have, we need to speak to two challenges. The two challenges majorly are just for government to help us with the road where we are. As you know, we're in Doma local government, Ondori to be precise, Rukubi. So it's important for that road to be properly graded. And secondly, to make sure that we don't have multiple taxation from agencies of government. So a one-stop shop, very important. So I'm very happy to note again and to restate that Nasarawa State is open for business, and we're happy to collaborate and cooperate with the state government. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We are glad that we've been given an opportunity essentially to discuss the benefits we have received from Nasarawa State at this point in time and what we are also capable of providing. We encourage other investors who are coming in to freely talk to us about our experiences after this plenary, and we are glad enough to share those win-win experiences with you. Thank you very much for the chance to talk. Thank you.